Jazzcast Pros.
Hello, my fellow dreamers. If you found yourself here today, then you're most likely looking for answers about your sleep. And while I speak on a number of sleep challenges, in this episode specifically, I'm talking to those of you that are most sleep challenged, my shift workers, those working outside the traditional 9 to 5 and have started to feel the burnout that comes with it. Now, studies signal to us that women are likely to suffer from burnout at higher rates than men, potentially due to our juggling multiple roles from careers to being mothers and wives. But this episode is filled with great info for the fellows as well, because at the end of the day, how you manage your sleep determines whether you'll be an active participant in your life or just merely surviving. So it hits home with many. So stay with me if you want to learn how to tap into your best sleep, even if you're working against nature's clock. Welcome back to another episode of the Doze Podcast, where our conversations circle around ways to optimize your sleep, to project your best self. I'm your host, Soda Kuczkowski, and our conversation today is going to be a good one, as this episode is centered around Circadian Awareness Day, observed, of course, on July 24th, today. And it highlights the profound impact your circadian rhythms have on health, safety, and performance. And whether you realize it or not, your body's at work 24/7, performing a number of vital functions to keep you alive and healthy. So I thought it timely to focus our time together on how this is impacted by shift work. Now, before I even dive into it, I want to clarify that what we know of and how we define shift work has really changed over the course of the years. Shift work refers to any work schedule that falls outside the traditional 9 to 5 workday. And this includes not only those nights or those overnight shifts, but early morning shifts and rotating shifts as well. And while these schedules are essential in many industries, it has the potential to wreak havoc on your circadian rhythms and circadian health. Now, circadian health refers to keeping your body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm, working well. And this natural cycle follows more or less a 24-hour pattern, and it's mainly influenced by light and dark. It regulates important functions to keep you feeling and looking well, like your sleep, hormone levels, and metabolism. But engaging in shift work as a whole has shifted many to suffer from what's known as circadian misalignment. Circadian misalignment occurs when there's a mismatch between your internal circadian clock and your external environment. And this misalignment beyond shift work can be caused by irregular light exposure, jet lag, or other factors that can disrupt the natural light-dark cycle. Our circadian clock generates a more or less 24-hour rhythm that controls behavior, hormones, and your immune system. Without proper alignment, all these processes can become desynchronized, leading to a number of health issues, which is why it's even more important as a shift worker to prioritize your sleep. Now, it's estimated that about 27% of the American workforce are shift workers, but I would argue that the number is much higher here where I live in Buffalo, New York, because the industries that make up the primary work in this area, and that's to say after COVID, everything may not be open 24/7, but most of the positions here locally still require some shift work, from healthcare, emergency services, our first responders, manufacturing, transportation, retail and hospitality, information technology, public utilities, security and surveillance, media and communications, and agriculture. Each require work outside the traditional work hours of 9 to 5. And what can be worse is being in an industry that works against your chronotype, or the times that are best suited for you to do things like eat, exercise, and sleep, so that your body knows what it should be doing and when. And the combination can further lead to burnout, especially as there's this vicious cycle that exists between our ability to manage our stress and our sleep. Now, if you're feeling this way, or maybe if you're edging towards it, this is definitely the episode for you. Even if you tried all the gadgets to track your sleep or products marketing to you that they are the true solutions to your sleep problems, what I often find with clients that I work with is that the intent is right, but what's lost is in the application. Reaching for supplements or tracking your sleep without really understanding what the data means or if a product is appropriate and beneficial to what you're looking to achieve. What the root cause of the challenge you're having is, and it may extend past to not just getting enough sleep, but actually more of a sleep quality issue. As humans, we have been exposed to so much that causes us to feel, and honestly, just to be off. There is an extreme disconnect between natural solar time and our social clocks. Specifically, we take in light in so many ways other than as nature intended, blasting blue light when we shouldn't and blocking it out when we need it the most. And for shift workers, this couldn't be truer, especially if you're working overnight and sleeping during the day, as many of my clients do. Also, being stuck indoors where the body can't decipher what should be occurring. And therein the problem also lies a central part of the solution, and that's light regulation, which is key to circadian rhythm optimization, the true foundation for getting your best sleep. The timing of light exposure can be a real game changer when it comes to many of the circadian rhythm disorders that we see, like jet lag for travelers or shift work disorder. This is why tools centered around helping you to regulate your light are the most crucial to have in your plan to recovery. When working with shift workers, there are some that I label as must-haves for your sleep kit. Now, some of you may have heard of them, maybe not so much the science of why they work so well. And others may be completely new to you, but this is my must-have list. First, blackout curtains. Second, sleep eye mask. And we have one that is best rated. It has a nose baffle, so it blocks out all of the light. It's a soft mulberry silk. It has a double adjustable strap. So all of these things are important to making sure that you actually keep it on and that it blocks out all the light that's necessary. Third, light therapy lamp. At least 10,000 lux to pick you up when you need it. It can be energizing. Number 4, an amber light bulb for your living room and your bedroom to set the right environment. Fifth, an amber night light for the hallways and for the bathrooms. Now, this is one that you might not have heard of. Red blue blocker glasses. Yes, you heard me right. Not amber, red. If you're a shift worker, you need red as the lens color of your blue light blocking glasses matters because different colored lenses block out different amounts of specific wavelengths of light. And red blocks it all. They block 100% of the blue, green, and violet light that we need to avoid to be able to fall asleep and to sleep deeper. At the Doze, we've created a perfect pair at an affordable price to get the job done, and I'll share the link in the show notes. And last, a light therapy lamp with a red light to put you down when you're ready. Red light has been studied and shown to support our health in a number of ways. Red light during sleep can reduce sleep inertia, that grogginess when you wake up, but it can also be used to promote alertness without compromising your melatonin production, which affects your ability to fall asleep later. So each of these I consider a must-have for my shift workers in terms of sleep tools. But the timing of their use is the most important, which is where working with a sleep coach to optimize your schedule is vital for sleep success if you find that you're struggling. The right timing of light is at the heart of true health and well-being. So while each of these tools are integral for having in your kit, you might not need all of them all of the time, or some might be better suited than others. So according to Project Sleep, modern life has thrown our natural light-dark cycles into complete chaos. We expose ourselves to blue light from screens late into the night, disrupt our sleep patterns with irregular work hours, and travel across time zones without considering the impact on our circadian rhythms. And with more people working irregular hours and remote work blurring the lines between day and night, maintaining a regular circadian rhythm has become even more increasingly challenging. So the light tools that I mentioned can help immensely. And if tech is your thing and you're looking for a sleep tech tool, I'd encourage you to skip the tracking your sleep nightly and utilize one that does the work for you and provides you actionable insights. The thing is, knowing how much deep or REM sleep you're getting doesn't help you if you don't know what it means or what to do with the information. And I have a great one for you. And I have a little backstory to go with it. Now, a few years back, I think it was 2019, right before COVID, I was selected to be a speaker at the National Sleep Foundation Conference in Houston, Texas. And I'll try not to geek out, as my husband says, but I had the pleasure and opportunity to meet and share the stage with some of the biggest names in sleep research and science. And what I remember about that conference is that everyone was so kind and open to discussions. And I forged so many professional relationships, but also friendships that I have today. But in particular, there was one person that I had a chance to talk to and spend time with, and that was Mickey Beyer-Clausen, and he's the co-founder of Timeshifter. At this conference, they won an award for Best Sleep Tech, and they've continued to do amazing work in the space. Now, Timeshifter is an app that helps to manage jet lag by providing personalized light exposure schedules based on your travel itinerary. You even put in your flight, and it tracks everything for you. It's a practical application of circadian science, helping travelers adjust to new time zones faster and more efficiently. My friends and I personally use it when we travel, and I can tell you it works great. It utilizes the timing of light and caffeine to get you acclimated to your new time zone. I use it whenever I'm headed to a new time zone, and it did wonders for us when we took a trip to Europe. We wanted to make sure we felt alert to really maximize our time, and it did the trick. Now, that's a short-term example, as jet lag generally lasts only as long as you're away and not on your usual schedule. But I want to focus on you, the shift worker, and the fact that this may be the everyday for you. I know that shift work can also look a lot of different ways. Maybe your schedule changes every few weeks, maybe even every week, as I've seen in some cases. Or maybe you fancy yourself an early riser, but find that you're working, the second shift from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And this too can throw you off your game and leave you feeling depleted. Well, Timeshifter has also just launched one for shift workers that is now live. Now, I don't have any affiliations with them, but I would definitely look at checking it out. But it is a great tool to get you started. But I want to take a moment just to pause to have you do a little self-reflection with some questions to focus in on how shift work may be affecting your sleep. So how many hours of sleep do you typically get in a 24-hour period? Do you experience frequent awakenings or restless sleep? Do you find it difficult to wake up or feel refreshed after sleep? Do you have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep during your designated sleep hours, especially if you're working that opposite schedule? Do you feel excessively sleepy during your work shifts, especially at night? Do you use any tools to manage your light regulation, like the red, amber, blue blockers I mentioned, or a sleep mask? Ask yourself, should you be? Have you gained or lost significant weight since starting shift work? Do you suffer from frequent migraines or headaches? Do you find it challenging to concentrate or focus on tasks? Have you had any near-miss incidents or accidents at work? And are you heavily reliant on stimulants to stay awake and sleep aids to help you fall asleep? By evaluating the responses to these questions, you can gauge the extent of your circadian misalignment and its impact on your health, performance, and overall well-being. And it may be time to seek help. And if so, and if you're ready to get some guidance on creating a personalized schedule that meets your personal goals and needs, I'm happy to share that my calendar is going to be reopening in August, as I have developed a new coaching service for my shift worker clients. And you can click on the link below to schedule. But in the meantime, this is what I want you to do. These are the steps I want you to take. If you're a shift worker, you're struggling with your sleep right now, maybe you're new to shift work, maybe you have just started a new job where your schedule is constantly changing and you find yourself misaligned, these are the steps that I want you to take. Number 1, I want you to acknowledge the signs and recognize that you may need help towards recovery and that you're not alone. You have this episode as reference and a great step in the right direction, and you can re-listen to it as needed. Number 2, I want you to commit to prioritizing your sleep, especially if you're a shift worker. You must invest in tools, especially if you work during the night and you sleep during the day, because you're always going to be fighting the natural rhythm of your biology, even if you consider yourself a night owl. Our bodies never adjust to shift work, so you need to make choices that can help to minimize the occurrence and greater likelihood of sleep deprivation and burnout. And you want to use tools to optimize your sleep space. Make sure that you have a designated sleep space and that it's cool and dark and helps to promote your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Third, manage light. And this goes back to tools because we cannot summon the sun on our command. So as a shift worker, you need to use artificial light to trick your brain into doing the opposite of what it wants to do, to pick you up or settle you down as needed. 4, set boundaries and develop positive coping mechanisms. And if you don't know it, rest and sleep are not the same thing. You need boundaries to give yourself the time you need and to engage in activities that fill you back up. And I'll drop the links to my episodes on rest to help you understand where restlessness comes from and how to keep a better balance, but most importantly, how to recognize a rest deficit when it appears. And number 5, I want you to remember to be flexible. Life will always throw things at you and introduce variables that can throw you off track. So by flexible, I mean give yourself space for grace. There is no such thing as perfect sleep or the perfect thing to do. You have to understand what's best suited for you to create your own plan and that plan may change. But that's okay. You have to be patient with yourself and know I'm here for you, and you can always tune in when you need me. So forget the generic sleep solutions. The key is to optimize your circadian health. And by understanding and leveraging the power of light and timing, you can significantly improve your sleep quality and overall health, even as a shift worker. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Doze Podcast. Until next time, stay aware, stay aligned, and take care of your circadian rhythms. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with your colleagues and friends. And don't forget, I'm back every Wednesday with a new episode ready to empower you to take control of your sleep. If you've enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe to the Doze Podcast with a Z. I still have lots to share with you as we work together towards creating solutions around your unique sleep challenges and needs. Until then, remember, your pure potential if you change how well you sleep.